In heaven, there's a lot of things you're going to be able to do better than you can do now. What will you be able to do better in heaven than you can do now? You'll be able to what? I'm hearing some. What am I? I'm hearing some bizarre things. It sounds like golf. Sounds like golf illusions. Am I right about that? You know, there's not just a golf planet. There's a whole golf galaxy, and this galaxy has millions of planets, and each has a totally different kind of thing. A golf galaxy. He wants to be. You'll be able to, whatever that'll be like. By the way, be very careful. Don't say, well, we'll never have that pleasure again. Whatever it is that you enjoy in the game of golf, what you enjoy will be even better then. My grandson Kenny said to me the other day, "Hey, will there be toys in heaven?" And so my answer to him is, "Well, Kenny, what's the most fun thing you've ever done?" And of course, for a child at 5, the most fun thing he's done is the last thing that you gave him. The last fun toy that he had. So he was remembering something I just gave him and what he was enjoying. I said, "Kenny, that's going to be that's nothing compared to what he's got in store. What you loved in that is only a little touch, a little hint of what he's got prepared for you." And you see, you go from the known to the unknown. And I think that God uses these pleasures in life as metaphors, as analogies, as hints of home. So it's not so abstract. So yes, you'll be able to do a lot of things better. What else will you be able to do better?
Music, art.
Music and art. Think about that. The best music you've heard so far, though some of it can be glorious, I think will probably be only a hint, almost as nothing in comparison to that music that we will enjoy. I think all of our taste will get better. I got worried about that once when I thought, when I was told, when I was in a particular church as a kid, you know, if you don't like going to church, you're not going to like heaven because heaven's just like church. And I was really in a bad position there because I knew I hated church, and I didn't want to go to hell, so I was really in a bad place there. What am I going to do? And then I realized, no, I didn't like it for a good reason. But that's another matter. There were some things I just didn't like. But no, music, art, creativity, all of this will be your ability to create things. That's why I've often described heaven as endless creative activity without frustration to the glory of God.
Love yourself.
Yeah, love, relationships. How much greater will the best moment of intimacy you've known with another person, in my view, is only a hint of home.
I think about your eyesight, just being able to see things as they really are.
See things as they really are. And God only knows what that means in the resurrection in all kinds of levels. You'll see things, will be illuminated in things in ways you could never have dreamed. Yeah.
Because we won't have the evilness of this world, will we have worship without distraction?
I would say that worship will be, again, something that's totally unmediated. It'll be direct. It won't be distracted. And furthermore, because there is not the evil that we run into in terms of people's own agendas and manipulation, the union of the believers in that worship will be such that we will actually reinforce one another in a profound way. I know we've all heard that expression, to live above with the saints we love, that will be glory, but to live below with the saints we know, well, that's another story. Now, the fact is that we will be changed, and all those warts and all those agendas will be removed. All that's good in you, all that's best in you will remain, which means then that each of us will bring something unique to that table without all the baggage as well. And then what the worship will be like is beyond accounting. And you could go on and on with this. There are so many things we'll be able to do better. Let me tell you 2 things you'll never be able to do again. You'll never, ever, ever be able to share the gospel and serve people who are in need and hurting. That you'll never have that opportunity. So what we do well to do is to recognize we are here, and God has given us certain opportunities to reproduce, to share in our arenas of influence, to be winsome, and to have a redemptive relationships with people so that we can serve them, and where we can serve people who are troubled and people who are hurting and people who are in need, because we'll never be able to do that again. And I think that's an important perspective, to treasure today's opportunities to serve people in a way we'll never be able to do again. I think that's an orientation that I find to be very, very helpful. Any comments on what I've said so far? Any questions?
Will our wives not be menopausal in the next life?
Listen to this.
He's a Pharisee.
What'd you say?
He's a Pharisee.
He says you're a Pharisee. What did I say about relationships? Relationships, all relationships. Of course, you're not going to be married in heaven. That's the other thing, you know. Yeah, Order. Golly. Oh, man.
Tell us more.
Remember, you guys are bad this morning, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, don't test us. It will be again, I think that it will be beyond our description, beyond our imagination. What will be right in this world, you can't give yourself to more than one person, body, soul, and spirit. There, I think that those limitations will be removed, but it will not be like a sexual orgy or something like that, but rather, I think the union of the spirit that we will enjoy with one another will so transcend, but the best moment of intimacy we've known with another human being is only a hint of that. And I think that that's going to be characteristic of all of our relationships. So there'll be this unity and diversity and this profundity. And yes, all those warts and so forth, because let's be honest about us. We might complain about our spouses, but our spouses have just as much right to complain about us. I mean, let's be honest about us. We both bring foolish things to the table. In this life, by the way, you have to make a choice here. Until that occurs. In this life, you have to make a choice. And if you're wise, you'll choose to focus on those things that are endearing and those qualities that are attractive and draw you to your spouse, and not to focus on the things that are annoying. And hope that she will do the same with you. Give you the same grace as well. You get to choose, by the way. This is a parenthetical thing, but you get to choose the way you look at another person. And if you focus on those qualities and choose not to look at the other, and if the other wants to do that with you, you've got something going there that I think can be profound. So even in relationships, and I say this not just with marriage, this is relating with friendship. Again, we want to focus on those things, those qualities in another person that are endearing and that are attractive. And grace and friendship overlooks those things that are annoying. You see, we try to seek those positive things. So all of this, I think, can be designed. All of these things in this world are giving us opportunities we'll never have again. We will be perfect, but not yet. So we wait for that. And there's an obvious difference between knowing it in your head and knowing it in your heart. Difference between believing that the words are right and knowing that they're true. But I do believe that God's got us in a refining process. Zechariah 13. Not your best known book of the Bible, but it's easy to find. Go to the beginning of the New Testament and then just turn to the left a couple books. That's the best way to find Zechariah. It's just before Malachi. So Malachi you can find, it's just before Matthew, and then you're in Zechariah. Zechariah 13, verse 9. I will bring the third part through the fire, refine them as silver is refined, test them as gold is tested. They will call on my name and I will answer them. I will say they are my people, and I will say the Lord is my God. Then turn a couple pages over to the right in Malachi and go to Malachi 3, 2 through 3. Who can endure the day of his coming, and who can stand when he appears? For he's like a refiner's fire and like fuller's soap. He will sit as a smelter and purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and refine them like gold and silver, so that they may present to the Lord offerings in righteousness. And all of you know what the imagery of that purification involves. When you take the molten gold or silver and you put the gold and silver in the crucible, and you bring it to the point where it melts. And what happens is the impurities rise to the surface, and the goldsmith or the silversmith will then skim that off the surface. And if you want more purity, you'll heat it up even more. And this can be an iterative process. And the more times you refine it, and the higher the heat, what happens is more impurities, more dross is removed until you skims it off. The image here is that the silver is not really pure, not really ready for use, until the silversmith himself can see